Hello everyone and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Oh boy, it's now time. The stage is set. Let the last trial of Maggey Byrde begin. So without further ado, let's get started. So now we're back at the good old court lobby. Let's begin the dialogue. With bottled water at the ready. Here we go. Good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Maggey. So, what do you think is going to happen today, sir? Yesterday's session didn't go so well, and then ended on a giant mystery. It's true, and we still haven't solved a single part of it yet. Are you okay, Nick? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I saw that a little flash of doubt in your eyes. No, that wasn't doubt. That was determination. Why don't I believe you? It's nearly time, Maggey. You'd better get going to the defendant's seat. Roger. Don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you. Hey, pal! Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Quit stressing Maggey out! She doesn't need that! How did you know she was stressed? I was watching through the doorway. Oh. You look like you lost the case already. Show a bit of confidence. Will you, pal? Here, maybe this'll help. Huh? Have you taken up aromatherapy too? Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me that you don't remember this thing. Come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. This is of a small bottle that turned up in Trabian's kitchen a couple days ago. Wow, look at all these little bottles. Oh, they're aromatherapy oils. He's got so many, they're overflowing onto the floor. Hey, wait a minute. There's one bottle that's different from all the others. Well, what do you know? And it doesn't have a label either. And it doesn't smell. We finally got the an analysis results back from the lab. So, what is it? Is it the poison? I'm afraid not, pal. It's medication. Medication? Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently. For ears? You mean... Yeah, it's the medication Glenn Elg was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glenn Elg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? Alright, so the small bottle has been added to our evidence. What about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? Someone screwed up, so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Another hour and they might have gotten something on the prints, but... That's going to weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today. Got it? Today's trial. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done, or my name isn't Phoenix Wright. Alright, here we go. Excuse me 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had a runny nose, allergies. Alright, here we go. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggey Byrde. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ready and waiting as always, Your Honor. Very good. Then, we'll get underway at once. Yesterday we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claims to have a witness the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank from it with his right hand. But according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left. Thank you, Mr. Godot. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, the victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet, the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear. It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick? Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world you see keeps turning, and we must turn with it. You've lost me already, Mr. Godot. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You've got to change with the times. That's one of my rules. Are you implying that you've resolved these contradictions? You know the answers to these riddles? Oh, sorry, that was the judge talking. Sorry about that. The old guy wasn't just throwing seed in here. He was throwing us off the scent. And today, I'll prove it. Very well. Let the first witness take the stand. And guess who it is? And you are? Oh, bonjour, everyone. I am Jean Armstrong, the owner of and head chef of Le Tribulations restaurant. Enchanté. Forgive me for asking, witness, but are you a woman? Oh la la, monsieur. As you can see, I am le pert and perky gentleman, non? On the day of the incident, you were in Trabian's kitchen. Isn't that right? With you, monsieur. Everything feels right. Huh. Wow, he's totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy? Very well. Your testimony, please, witness. Please tell the court what happened the day at Tribien. Oui, volunteers. I think I might have mispronounced that. Like I said, I must apologize for my lame French accent. I'm doing the best I can. Alright, testimony number 1. At Tribien. When it all happened, there were two customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new art decos that day, like having a large mirror between the tables, for example. Oui, perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. The cup, the earpiece, and the glasses. He would have seen everything in a reverse, no? Mirror? Oui, un grand mirror. The most enormous mirror. And suddenly, the mystery, it disappears. Like I said, the world keeps turning, so roll with it. That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front. What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Alright, here we go. The part where it says, la cup. That's where I have to present something. Let's see. Because remember, he's talking about a mirror. When Mr. Kudo saw what was happening, he was seeing the whole incident happen through a huge mirror that they had put between the tables. Hence, that's why Mr. Kudo saw that he was drinking from his left hand, or I forgot what it was, but all is explained in the other trial. So, all right, so the cup, the earpiece, and the glasses, it would have seen everything in a reverse. So, let's present the profile picture of Glenn Elg. So notice that the scouter, yes, I'm going to call that a scouter, is on his left eye. Alright, here we go. Let's present it. The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question. You can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in a mirror, it means both the HMD and the victim's it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. Exactamente. You see, Monsieur, now that's you think about it, it is not so odd, no? Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? Order! Order! Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we would expect the victim's earpiece to have been over his right eye.
Objection.
How bitter. Try. You should have a taste of this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time. Are we talking about your coffee or something completely different? You don't understand the way the witness thinks. How he thinks? You remember this, I presume. Then I broke the vase. Sorry. Apology that... I mean... Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony? Exactly. The old man has one very grievous habit. Other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddle his mind makes. And what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elg? Clearly, it's the victim's eyepiece. And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. Elg's HMD, Mr. Elg's HMD made a big impression on the old man. I saw the earpiece and those newfangled spectacles he was wearing. Oh yes, they were both on his left ear. Do you hear? His left ear. Well, Trite. That's the worst but best impression of Kudo. Oh, I messed up there. I guess I was supposed to do an imitation of Mr. Kudo through Godot. Yeah, I messed up there. Wow, I really thought he was old Seedy for a minute there. Godot's good. Enough. I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony. Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of a contradiction you found is just a rash. A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court. We're all ears. Oui, I can explain. Please, if you will look at the plans of the restaurant. Alright, map time. Okay, never mind. I thought there was going to be a map there. I think there should be a map coming up soon, if I remember correctly. Alright, here we go. Testimony number 2. The mirror. Lors, is everyone sitting comfortably? Here we go. Here are the plans. The mirror, it was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves. There is only one seat from which you could have seen an image of the victim. That was the seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else. Alright, so the part where it says that was the seat, there's something I have to present. I see no problems with the explanation we've just heard. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror. What a naughty little coquette I am, confusing all the men like this. Don't worry about it. We can keep up. Except for the guy breaking out in a cold sweat over there again. I hate that guy. You said you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that? Volunteers, of course. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please. Alright. Hopefully I don't lose my count to how many testimonies are being presented. Alright, so it's the as I was the last seat. I think I might have said something wrong, but let's see. Here it is. As I was as the last seat. So what I'm gonna present is the crime photo. This piece of evidence contradicts with testimony we have heard, Your Honor. The crime photo? Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Should not exist? Sounds like you're describing yourself, Trite. Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statements. What is it, the something that should not exist in this photo? Well, that's easy. You notice that that vase? Remember when the crime happened? That Mr. Kudo knocked down a vase by accident? Well, why is it still here? Oops, sorry. I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not be in the picture. The vase? What possible connection does that have to do with this testimony? Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on this table. Because it's very because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. And that is Mr. Kudo's testimony. There is one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting, and yet, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all. Don't be an idiot, Trite. That's impossible. That seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's a reflection from. Exactly. There's only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Tribulations that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie. Mon Dieu! Don't try to confuse the court, Trite. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase, while the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene. Unfortunately, Mr. Kudo, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary. In his own words, I did not touch anything else except the mirror. Chug, chug, chug. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear which he couldn't hear? You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, Trite, then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, then I'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Are you going to be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick? There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Remember what Maggey told us? There was another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the... Flies? Okay, I'm just making sure because I thought I thought I saw files, so sorry about that. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. The victim was a phony. This case is riddled with contradictions. Yet there is one very simple answer that clears them all up. And what is that? The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events. What? Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glenn Elg at all. It was an imposter, a phony, pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, the victim, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. Maybe I should use my bottle of water, like drink a bit. Hold some of the water in my mouth and just spit it out. You know, acting like if like imitating the actual spitting of Godot's coffee. But nah, I'd rather not risk it. Order! Order in the court! Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom. Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here, huh? What did you say? Trite. Are you saying that what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup? Yes. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg. Redo this again. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo. Get real, Trite. Why would anyone want to do that? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his testimony was about the serving girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. That's the serving girl's that's the serving girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. It's so hard to believe, but there was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggey Byrde in the act of poisoning the coffee. Are you insinuating that a waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but it's also true that the chef was there. How would he would have noticed what was happening? That's right. Well, witness, if your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you would have known about it, correct? Oh la la, this is most difficult for me. No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Tribulations that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened. The defense request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the events in the restaurant that day. Testimony number 4. Man, I think I miscount again. In the restaurant. The victim, Monsieur L, he came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. as there were no other customers. When he got word he won the lottery, Monel became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. None. There was no time for phony to do the acting. Yeah, about that. There's something I have to press on where it says I remember. The old man. Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all. Je vous demande pardon. Forgive me, your honor. I lied because I wanted these mess to be cleared up quickly. What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I will decide how to punish you later. Hui. For now, we will hear your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. He took that perjury charge a bit too well. But I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. Alright, here we go. Let's see. Here it is. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct? Hui, it comes often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience. Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome anytime. I said it was worth one sip, and nothing more. So, old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. So yeah, what time was it that he actually arrived? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? Oh no, I cannot remember, monsieur. I believe we were told by a witness yesterday. The crime was reported at 2:25 by a kind of scary old man, sir. Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness? The incident happened about 20 minutes after he arrived, so the victim must have arrived between 2 p.m. and 2:10 p.m., no? Just after 2, huh? Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful. I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? The time of day will be added to the witness's testimony. Oui, monsieur judge. Everything I do, music reference. Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood. He's even humming a song to himself. Alright, so here's the new testimony. I remember the old man arrived not long after after Ian, just after 2 p.m. Let's present something. Let's see, where is it? Aha! The Millionaire Flyer. Experience the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life every Monday at 1:30. I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. Hui? What do you mean? At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with this earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announce the winning numbers of a $500,000 lottery ticket. Oui, as that must be a show, mon. Elk was listening to. I can't see any problems with this testimony, Mr. Wright. I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? Hui. I am sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I know it was at that time because I had just finished serving the lunch menu. Get to the point, Shrike, if you have one. That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m. and it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. It's on the air at 1:30? Now, supposedly the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. None! This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with the ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. This victim was an imposter acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glen Elks in Tribulations that day. The real Glen Elk, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer. And the phony Glen Elk acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness. It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how could you explain the time discrepancy? Quite a performance, Trike. You were almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. What is this? Music Theory 101? Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phony elk is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain, then, where the real Glen Elk is? I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at the time, the real Glen Elk was already dead. That's certainly the obvious conclusion. Thank you, Trike. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. What? Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? The missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glen Elk, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to the examination by the court, you must provide us with the proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body? Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, trite. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden. Evidence? Well, what's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden? I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead. Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the real Mr. Elg concealed? Inside Tribulations. It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Tribulations. Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you would care to show the court on these plans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. The exact location where the body was concealed inside Tribulations is... Present the kitchen. The body was hidden here. I see. Nice supposition. Supposition. Sorry. But the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location? Well, easy. Remember the medication bottle we saw? Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? No. I have never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. The highest quality only for me. Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright? Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Tribulations. Eh? Oui? But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication. What kind of medication? I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elg visited in Otolary Geological Clinic. An ear doctor, there we go. In ear clinic, and was given medication that day. You can't be serious. The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. The contents of the bottle match the prescription that was given to Mr. Elg. Glenn Elg's murder hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen? Mon Dieu. Yes. You know what I'm about to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggey Byrde. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. None! Order! Order! This is an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Elg? Neville, I could not do such a horrible thing. No! Mr. Godot? The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules. Do you have the slightest idea how many cups you've had by now? Then, I'd like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I'd like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear, my H-deficient friend? Wait a minute, did he just trying to say what I think he was trying to say? Anyways, je vous demande pardon? Please, you must hear me out. It is a trap. Listen to me, por favor. Yo hablo español. Oh, wow. Sorry. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do speak Spanish too. Oh wow, but this is I forgot. Like I said, this has been I haven't played this game in a long time, and a bit of history. I had the actual cartridge on the DS, but I lost it somewhere. I think I might have explained it in the first part, or not. But I used to have the cartridge, and I lost it. I've never seen it since then. But I forgot some like there's like they put a lot of like comedic dialogue here. Yo hablo español. Mr. Armstrong, and por favor is Spanish. I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it? None. Absolutely none. I... Let's hear it. You've got one shot, right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you, as does my gavel. It is clear. What do they always say in the movies? I've got a bad feeling about this. Very well. Begin your final testimony. Alright. Final testimony for John Armstrong. It is true. I eat a body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. Yeah. We'll explain why. Well, I will explain why. I had to go along with him. Because there was a reason why I cannot refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me. You were forced? By who? I cannot say, or I will be erased. Movie reference? Let's try a different question then. When Mr. L died, was he really the only person at his table? There was another man. I knew it. Maggey was telling the truth. You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright. There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer. Alright, so as I said, the statement where it says a man forced me to do it, that's when I present the picture of this person. Furio Tigre. Let's end this that dance of ring around the rosy, Mr. Armstrong. This is the man that you've been referring to. Uh, who is that? I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh, I don't know. Maybe a month ago in this very courtroom. This man is Furio Tigre. He's the manager of a loan office called Tender Lender. There's no point trying to hide the truth anymore, Mr. Armstrong. I know you couldn't go against Mr. Tigre. At least not while he had this on you. Remember that loan contract? A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you. Hui, it is as you say. Mr. Armstrong, the tiger, he told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting the victim to demand repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what you told me to. I had no choice. I carried a body and constant Maggey out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I had seen. I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre. I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison and the lottery ticket were recovered from the defendant's apron pocket. Was that your doing as well? No, I knew nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggey who had done it. I was not. It is despicable. Mr. Godot, you will summon this Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow. "30 minutes. What? The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. Not a minute more." How the... Don't sit back and relax, trite. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way. Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We will resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess. Whew, we're almost there. We're halfway towards the end of this case. All right, so I'm gonna take a little break, and I'll be right back while I get a bathroom break, and then come right back. So, cut. Okay, I'm back. All right, here we go. Let the final parts of this trial begin. Gotta save the game first. Alright, we're back at the lobby. So we're finally going to see the tiger on the stand. We've almost got this case won now, Nick. I wish I could agree. Huh? When I cross-examined Mr. Armstrong just now, He said he was just doing what the tiger told him to do. But Godot picked up on it. Remember? He pointed out that without proof, we don't know if what he testified is the truth. You mean you think Mr. Armstrong was lying? I don't know, but if that's the line the prosecution takes, we could be in trouble. I guess the feeling that we don't have the case-making evidence we're going to need. Hey, pal! Detective Gumshoe. Why are you so jumpy about a detective? Are your hairs standing on end? Hey, that's the pot calling the kettle black. A little Miss Top Knot. It's not a top knot. Never mind about the hair. Just calm down, all right? I can't stand still when I don't have a job to do. I kind of get wound up. No kidding. You've got to have something you need me to do, pal. Anything. Well, hey, I'm gonna take a jog back down to the precinct. I could get some prints analyzed for you if you got an hour. An hour? The trial would have reconvened by then. But Nick, we still don't have a really decisive piece of evidence, right? True, but that's some kind of trump card to pull out of the bag. We're really stuck. You said you can get some fingerprint analysis done in an hour. You bet. In that case, would you mind checking the prints on this for me? And that would be the small bottle. If you're going back to the station anyway, could you find out whose prints are on this? Oh, hey, that's the small bottle I gave back to you this morning, right? Yeah, I think it's time we solved the last mystery of who the prints on it belong to. Sure thing, pal. Actually, that's been gnawing at me too. Alright, so we give the small bottle of ear medicine to Detective Gumshoe. Okay, I'll get this off to the lab right away. Just make sure you don't lose the case before I get back. This is pretty much the final showdown, I guess. It's time to separate the phonies from the real guys. Alright, here we go. The moment of truth. Court will now reconvene. Mr. Godot, did you find this Furio Tigre? I even tamed him for you. It was a 3-cup job. No problem. Tamed him? The guy's name may be Furio Tigre, but come on. He's pretty lively. Be careful. He still bites. Very well. Please show Mr. Tigre to the stand. Witness? Please state your name and occupation to the... Don't hide under the table, Maya. Unless there's room for me to down there too. Would you mind? What you say to me? Nothing. I didn't say nothing. Honest. Who could have guessed that fear would induce a bad Brooklyn accent in the judge? I got business to take care of. You hear me? So who the heck called me into this hole? Was it you, Spiky? No, of course not. It was the judge? Your Honor? Oh dear, I seem to have dropped my pen. Where on earth is it? So don't mind me. Just carry on with the proceedings as normal. That's it. We're doomed. Maybe you didn't hear me. I said, who the heck was it that called me in here? There's no need to shout. We can all hear you. What'd you say? There's no point struggling. You're caught in a snare. The relentless snare of the law. And I'm the one that hauled you in. Too cool. Don't let him get the better of you, Nick. Let's start with the basics. You know about the incident in question, correct? Incident? I don't know nothing about no stinking incident, masked boy. You mean you didn't attend the previous trial of Maggey Byrde? Maggey who? I've got more important things to do than watch courtroom dramas. Of course. Well, perhaps you could give us your testimony then. Please tell us about what you did on the day of the murder. Phoenix Wright. You's the one who set this up, didn't you? You's gonna regret that day you ruffled the tiger's fur. You hear what I'm saying? Maybe I should have brought a diaper with me today. Get a grip, Nick. Oh, you're one to talk. Alright. Testimony number 1. The tiger's alibi. Here we go. I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all my time in my office. I got whales lined up to borrow cash from tender lender every single day. You just want to check my alibi? Just ask Violetta. At last, I found my pen. Very well then. Mr. Wright, please cross-examine. What is it, please, a witness? If you could refrain from shouting it out like that. I know the kind of games that guy in blue plays. That lowlife ain't no lawyer. He just punches away at stupid details till he wins. Lowlife? Me? Listen up, Smarty. Every time you ask me something that doesn't relate to this case, I'm gonna bill you $50,000, and you're gonna borrow that cash from me. That's one loan contract I refused to sign. And don't think it ain't gonna hurt when you get tangled with the tiger. I love a good spectator sport. Just a minute. That's really not... This witness is... How can I put it? A hungry tiger roaming the urban jungle. Get on his bad side, and he'll bite everyone's heads off. Yours too. Very well. I have no choice but to impose a penalty system here. You's better be listening. I said I got business to take care of. Big business. If I don't split now, I ain't gonna catch my bus. Didn't you have a scooter? Whatever happened to that scooter? The court will impose a penalty for any irrelevant pressing of witness testimony. Keep that in mind as you begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. You can do it, Nick. Come out from under there already, would you, Maya? Alright, so the part where it says I was tied up with business, I'm gonna press on that. Let's see. Not this one. Here it is. Let's press. So yeah. He's not joking. Whether you present the wrong evidence or you press on the wrong statement. If it's not the one you're supposed to do, then you will get penalized. So you gotta be very, very careful. Are you sure about that? We're talking about 1 month ago, you know. You'll see these teeth. That's how sharp my secretary is. Sharp? Is he talking about Viola Cadaverini? She writes everything in my scheduler. December, mainly in the office. That's what it says. So that's where I was. That seems like a rather sketchy schedule. There he goes again. What the tiger did all December isn't the issue. What's important is what he was doing on the day of the murder. So now what? Let's press. Mr. Tigre, what yous want? If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail. This is a dead-end trike, and you know it. Remember the rules. No, it's essential that we establish the witness's alibi accurately. I agree. The victim was killed on December 3rd. Were you in the office that day too? Maybe you ain't listening. Of course I was. I never set foot outside. I had meetings all day with a bunch of cats who wanted me to do business with me. I never seen that young kid before. I do believe that the witness last statement was important. Mr. Godot, if you could please. Mr. Tigre, the court asks you to add that last statement to your testimony. Don't let the animal beat you. Be a man, Your Honor, and ask him yourself. Alright, so, new testimony. The day I was talking about, I was in the office too. I never saw that kid before. About that. The calendar. On December 3rd, the day of the incident, there is a note saying, "Meet with the tiger." Mr. Tigre, you claim you didn't know Mr. Elg, but it appears that Mr. Elg knew you. What? Mr. Elg left this note on his calendar. Meet with the tiger, dated December 3rd. December 3rd? That's the day of the murder. So, Mr. Tigre, I submit that you did indeed know one Mr. Glenn Elg, because on the very day of the incident, you met with him. Not bad. You's actually not bad. Sorry? I was just messing with you to see how good you were. Did you hear that, Nick? He said you're not bad. That's one compliment I can do without. Plus, he's lying through his teeth. Witness, please remember that you're under oath. Lies will not be tolerated. You's calling me a liar? Is that what you're doing? So you're saying that your claim to have never seen that kid before is the truth? I said I'm dead serious. I better believe that that's the truth. Huh. Then I'd say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. Coffee. He means coffee. That is, while you testify to the court again. Mr. Tigre, Oh, yes, would you mind indulging the court witness? He never actually met the victim? That's gotta be a lie right there. It's time I nailed this guy. Alright, here we go. Testimony number 2. The victim, Glenn Elg. I ain't no liar. I never met Glenn Elg. There was some lame guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, tender lender. I waited around for him, but he ain't never showed. I never been to that Tribulations joint. You's here? Yeah, about that. I see. That all seems perfectly logical. You had arranged to meet with the victim, but he didn't show up. I've heard it's pretty hard to keep appointments when you're dead. Very well. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Didn't I tell you I got a big dealing going down today? I ain't gonna make my bus now. I'm gonna have to take the express train. That bill's going straight to you, right? Like I said, what happened to your scooter, Tigre? Alright, so remember when I said the part where it says I never been to Tribulations? About that. Let's see, let's go right here. I waited around for him. Here we go. I never been to that Tribulations joint. You was here? Okay then. Then how do you explain this? The Tribulations matches. Matches are used for advertising. Found lying in tender lender. How do you explain this, Tigre? Mr. Tigre, is there something you'd like to tell the court about these matches? Matches? What are you talking about? We found them in your office at Tender Lender. They're from that restaurant. If you really never been to Tribulations before, what was a book of matches doing on your desk? Well, the restaurant's book of matches. You've been snooping around in my stuff now too, wise guy. What are you, on my ball and chain? Ain't no broad controlling me. Order! Order! Well, witness, I think it's time you started telling us the truth, don't you? Sorry, I'm terribly sorry. Forgive me. I ain't no pussycat. I don't. Sorry about that. I don't go back on what I said. But okay, I was at that joint that day. What? Oh, sorry. What? But listen good, all right. I might have been there, but I still never met that kid. Well, well. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony. I'm this close to proving it was him. He did meet Glenn Elg that day, and he did put poison in his coffee. He must have. Alright, here we go. At Tribulations, testimony number 3. Here we go. I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be. It was gonna be. So I split. I heard the cops' sirens on my way out, and I went straight back to my office. So on the part where it says, when I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. I see. You didn't actually meet with him in the end, then. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor. Hold it! If I wait around here any longer, I ain't even gonna make the normal express. No more stupid questions. Ha! No problem. Anytime Tripe presses on something irrelevant, I'll see he pays a penalty. Mr. Godot, that's my job. Your job is to slam that little hammer of yours and call a guilty verdict. So do it. Yes, sir. Of a special express ain't cheap, right? Just so you know, since you's paying. How? More on that when we get to it. Oh man, doesn't the rule of law mean anything around here? Alright, so the part where it says, when I opened the door to the joint, I saw an ugly scene. That's where I'm going to present something. Let's see. Here it is. Let's see, where is it? Where is it? Wow, we have a lot of evidence here. Ah, here it is. The Trabian floor plans. You're something of a loan collecting pro, aren't you, Mr. Tigre? No one escapes the tiger's clutches. Well, I'm something of a lie detecting pro. Huh? And no one escapes the Phoenix's clutches. I think it's time we've got something straight. What's this, Trite? A new line of irrelevant questioning? These are the floor plans of the crime scene. You say you were standing at the entrance, Mr. Tigre. From there, your field of vision would have covered an area something like this. Indeed, the witness would have had a clear view of the victim's seat. Isn't that what I just said? I saw the back of the kid's head. Unfortunately for you, that is not possible. If the court would think back, you'll remember that between each of the tables is a tall partition. Why, that's true. Now, look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. From the entrance, the field of vision of any customer walking in ends here. So, from the entrance of Tribien, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did see the victim that day, because you met with him. Wrong. Have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table. But the defense just proved that point to be moot. The victim witnessed by Mr. Kudo was not Glenn Elg, but a fake. What? In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer posed as the victim he had just killed and acted out a charade. That will do. This trial has gone on long enough without obvious, with the obvious question being answered. Who exactly was this real killer who impersonated the victim? You say the killer murdered Glenn Elk and then impersonated his victim in a performance for Victor Kudo. In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of this criminal to the court. Bam ba-da-dum, Furio Tigre. Obviously, the killer is Furio Tigre. No one else could have done it. What? Well, witness? Now that's cute. You think you can pin this on the tiger? Maybe you don't understand. The tiger is the king of the jungle, so I dare you come say it again. Come on. You got the guts? Aren't lions supposed to be the king of the jungle, not tigers? You can't throw that threat at me, Mr. Tigre. It's the defense. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright. What the? Mr. Wright? Sounds to me like it must be you, old man. You've got guts, I'll give you that. Mr. Wright, don't leave me alone to handle this. Now you know how it feels, Judge. Perhaps I can end this embarrassment. Mr. Godot? Let's just go back over Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. The old man didn't just see the victim. Oh, no. A serving girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. There's no question about it. She very conspicuously put some white powder in there. Was the victim he saw the real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains, he saw the accused put the poison into the coffee. Yes, it was the waitress who... Very impressive, Mr. Godot. Waiting for my absence to launch your attack. Huh. Found your pen at last, Trite. It was in my pocket. But anyway, Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glenn Elg, and the waitress. And the waitress from behind. Yes, your point, Mr. Wright? I think the conclusion is obvious. If this Glenn Elg was really the killer in disguise, then surely it's possible the waitress was also part of the show. What? You mean a waitress was an imposter as well? The defendant, Miss Byrde, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her. Who on earth was it? Who was this waitress that Mr. Kudo witnessed? That would be Viola Cadaverini. Who is this woman? Her name is Viola Cadaverini. She's an employee of Tender Lender. You's making a big mistake. Do you know who Viola's grandfather is? You better get going home in an armored truck tonight, if you know what I mean. Stop shaking, Nick. Where was I? Yes, the defendant, Miss Byrde, had stated the following. Well, when I took the copy over to the victim's table, it's true that there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy, and she had kind of a cackling laugh. There are just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table, who nobody but Miss Byrde seems to have seen, the earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when that eardrum was ruptured, and the radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There's only one logical explanation that clears up all of these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice, once for real and once for show. And Mr. Furio Tigre, the only person who could have committed the crime, was you. Witness, what have you got to say? That's cute. Sorry? You's all right. I could do with a guy like you around. What do you mean? Okay, I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have to charter a jet to get me to my meeting now. I'm gonna give you one more thing to think about before I go. Something to think about? You's got it all wrapped up nice, right? But you's missed out one real important thing. But that can't be. I was in the joint that day, and I met that kid too. But I couldn't have poisoned him. You's here? What? Do you really expect us to believe you now, Mr. Tigre? Huh. What a troublemaker. Troublemaker? Looks like we're going to need another one for the road. One more steaming cup of hot testimony. Alright, here we go. Indeed. Witness, you will explain yourself to the court. I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Tribulations between yourself and the victim? Final testimony. Ties to the victim. Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, I loaned El Cash about $100,000. That day, we was due to have a little chat. The kid had hit his payback date, see? So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten the guy when he starts screaming. Yes, I won! $500,000! He got lucky, you know, real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she done, everything would have been over. Really now? Okay then. Now I see the principal amount you loaned to Mr. Elk was $50,000. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, well, I just got the VIG to take into account. Interest builds up fast, you know. That's faster than fast. $100,000 is twice as principal. And the repayment deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question. Yeah, he was one lucky kid. He got that $500,000 just in time. So I ain't have no reason to kill the kid. And if I ain't got no motive, you ain't got no case. His motive? He has to have one. But what is it? That's where the cross-examination comes in. Alright, so the part where it says if that waitress hadn't done what she did, That's where I'm gonna press right now. So we're gonna skip all this here. No, not this one. I'm about to flatten the guy. Nope. Yes, I want $500,000. Here it is. If that waitress hadn't done what she done, everything would have been over. So we're gonna press on that. The waitress. You mean the girl with the glasses in the defendant's chair? Who else could I mean? If she hadn't gotten in the way, things would have been bada bing, bada boom, over and done with. Maybe I should press a little on this. Let's ask what Maggey did. What exactly are you implying the defendant did? How about you go ask Four Eyes about that $500,000 ticket? She wanted it so bad. She poisoned Elk's coffee. A likely theory. Your word hasn't held water lately, Mr. Tigre. Let's not forget that this witness was actually at the scene, Trite. The law don't exactly agree with some of the deals I send down. I couldn't be there when the cops show up, so I split. I see. Your Honor, the witness's last few statements are worth a good 2 cups of coffee. I concur, Mr. Godot. You will amend your testimony accordingly, witness. So that's what you after Phoenix, right? All right, new testimony. Thanks to what she did, my business with that kid was over. Let's press on that. The Tiger's trying to pin this crime on Maggey. If I ask him about what he saw, it's only going to damage our case. What do you mean by things would have been over and done with? Are you all there or what? I'm talking about the cash. I was there to get my $100,000 back. That's all. I'm a businessman. It was all coming together before the waitress got in the way. As far as I can tell from the witness's testimony, other than recouping his loan, Mr. Tigre had no motive for killing the victim. Well, Mr. Wright, are you happy with the testimony, or would you like to amend it? Have it amended. I'm not going to get anywhere with the testimony as is. Your Honor, the defense would like the testimony amended. Very well. Witness, you will amend your testimony to reflect your recent statements, please. Alright. I was after the $100,000. I didn't have no other reasons to kill that guy. Not have no other reason to kill the guy? Then, how do you explain this thing? The MC Bomber. Excuse me. A computer virus made by Glenn Elk. Potentially worth millions of dollars. So you just intended to get back the $100,000 Mr. Elk owed you, correct? I loaned that guy the cash. So that's excuse me. There we go. Now let's repeat that this dialogue. I loaned the guy the cash, so that's my right. Unfortunately for Mr. Elg, I don't believe the $100,000 is what you were after. What are you getting at, Trite? What else would a moneylender be after other than money? Oh, the moneylender was after money, but money in a totally different league. The kind of money that a single disc like this would fetch. What is that? A computer virus, Your Honor. A virus called MC Bomber. A computer virus? What does one of those do? A computer virus is a program that wreaks havoc on the insides of a computer. A computer? What does one of those do? I guess the beard isn't the only part of this part of his honor that is from the Stone Age. I'll explain it to you later, Your Honor. Right now, this is the important point. A virus like MC Bomber would be worth several $1 million on the black market. Several $1 million? Lending money with no hope of ever seeing a repayment would normally be bad for business. But in this case, the very fact that Glen Elk had no way to repay the money is crucial. What? Glen Elk was a programmer, a highly skilled programmer. That skill was a collateral Mr. Elk put up in order to borrow the money. You're trying to suggest the witness's motive was to get a hold of that program? Mm-hmm. Exactly. The witness may have poor fashion sense, but he is by no means an idiot trite. A man like him could get his hands on $1 million without resorting to murder. Of course he could, provided that he had time. But what if he had needed the money right then? When the pressure's on, the luxury of choice tends to disappear. It seems you have a logical conclusion for this theory. Mr. Wright, would you care to share it with us? Why did Mr. Tigre need money to the tune of $1 million? Dun dun. Well, it's because of this. Viola's medical papers. A $1 million bill for cranial surgery. That's head surgery there. Payment was due last year. In December of last year, you found yourself in need of a huge amount of money. About 6 months ago, you were involved in a traffic accident, weren't you? An accident involving a car and a scooter, in which a young woman was injured. She was taken to the hospital, where she underwent surgery. Where did you get all this info? These medical papers, the document, the treatment of the young woman in question. According to these, her operation costs $1 million. Dun-dun. Excuse me, I couldn't resist. Payment for these expenses was due in the December of last year and was paid in full. $1 million? A preposterous sum. Someone should sue these HMOs. No one can pay a bill like that. If medical association got wind of it, the hospital would end up as dead as a morgue. But Mr. Tigre had no choice but to pay, because his very life depended on it. Order! 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 You say his life depended on it, Mr. Wright? Indeed it did. Simply because the injured woman was none other than Viola Cadaverini. Hmm? Did you say Cadaverini? Mm-hmm. Bruto Cadaverini, mob boss in charge of all underworld activities in the city, and doting grandfather to his precious Violetta, also known as Viola Cadaverini. Your life was in danger unless you paid compensation to the boss, correct? It makes sense. You were desperate to acquire the $1 million Cadaverini demanded of you. So desperate, in fact, that you decided to sacrifice Glen Elk's life to pay your debt. On the day of the murder, Mr. Tigre's sole intention was to get his hands on this CD. Glen Elk had no way of paying back the $100,000, and Mr. Tigre knew it. But then a miracle happened. The kind Mr. Tigre would prefer to say never happened, but he can't. Neither can I. The lottery win. Exactly. At the 11th hour, Mr. Elk won $500,000 on the lottery, which left Mr. Tigre with no way of getting his hands on the all-important CD. At least, no legitimate way. So he resorted to illegitimate means. That's crazy! He murdered Glen Elk and then made his next move, to frame Maggey Byrde for the crime. Mr. Tigre proposed as Glen Elk, while Viola Cadaverini played the role of Miss Byrde. And then, when they reenacted the whole thing in order to establish a witness, the witness being the one we all heard testify yesterday, Mr. Victor Kudo. Like I said, Trike, that's crazy. No one could pull off a stunt like that. For starters, there's no way the chef could have kept out of it. But Mr. Armstrong knew all about it. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Godot? Mr. Armstrong owed the witness money too. $500,000, in fact. He had no choice but to go along with Mr. Tigre's plan. Order! Order! Oh. You put on a good show, Spiky. Huh? If you want to stay alive in the loan shark business, you gotta be careful. You saying I dressed up like that kid, created a witness, and framed someone? If I did something crazy like that, I'd leave a trail as bright as my shirt. I ain't dumb enough to do something sloppy like that. I agree. What? Despite your appearance, you are very careful. That's why you took one more precaution. One more trick to make sure Miss Byrde had no way out. What? Another one? Mr. Wright? Interesting. Why don't you try filling... Oh, interesting. Why don't you fill us all in, Trite? What was this trick you say Mr. Tigre performed to frame the accused? Oops, sorry. Oh. This, the paper badge, found at Tender Lender, made of cardboard and painted to look authentic. How is this authentic? . Anyways, What on earth is that? What an insult! What an insult to think anyone could be fooled by such a childish imitation. Consider yourself insulted, Your Honor. Mr. Tigre, you didn't just pose as the victim on the day in question. A month ago in this very court, you posed as me. What? That's the truth. But the witness looks nothing like you, Mr. Wright. Although, now that I think about it, it was you, wasn't it? No doubt it was you, standing in here this very court a mere month ago. The Phoenix Wright who put up the most disreputable, shabby defense I had ever seen. Can you prove that, Gramps? Prove the attorney who represented the accused here a month ago was this man? Are you prepared to take the stand and testify that it was him? Hey, forget about it, yeah? I wouldn't do something like that. Not me. I may made a mistake, right? It was someone else, huh? Have you no pride, sir? This isn't a matter of pride. In case you didn't know, here in court, we deal with people's lives. Mr. Cadeau is right. Your Honor? Speaking for myself, I am absolutely convinced. The attorney in question was the witness standing before me now. However, I preside over this court as the judge, with the vested power to hand down a verdict. Someone in my position cannot be swayed by memory without evidence to support it. No! If the defense has no further evidence, the court will now excuse the witness. The circumstances surrounding Mr. Tigre are dubious for sure, but not conclusive. But we've come so far. You say he impersonated Glen Elg. You say he impersonated you, but none of that adds up to a murder charge. You don't have a shred of evidence that the witness poisoned the victim's coffee. Ah! Sucks to be you, Wright. Don't mess with the tiger, or you're gonna get mauled. You've got that? All we managed to do here was chase him around a bit, but I was so close to getting him to admit his own guilt. Looks like I won't be needing a refill. If I just had one more piece of evidence, and maybe I could get Maggey off the hook. This witness's cross-examination is over. You are free to go, Mr. Tigre. And Your Honor, sir. Wait. Detective? Detective Gumshoe. Sorry I took so long, pal. I stacked everything on this. My badge, the works. So here it is. My heart's counting on this too. What is it, detective? Isn't obvious, pal? It's the final, decisive piece of evidence. Oh my goodness. What? What? The crowd goes wild, doesn't it? Alright. Sorry it took so long, pal, but I finally got the results from the lab. The results? About the prints, pal. From the medicine bottle. Oh, so do you know who the prints belong to? Do you think I'm some kind of hack a detective? Of course I know. So tell us. They're the tigers, right? I knew it. You bet. Clear as crystal, all over the bottle. They're for Rio Tigre's paw prints, all right. That's great. We got them now, Nick. What's wrong with you? You've hardly said a word since Detective Gumshoe got here. He's laid everything on the line for this, Nick. I know. Look, I'm sorry. This is kind of hard to say, but it really doesn't make any difference whose prints are on that bottle now. Huh? What? Why not? What we need to produce at this stage in the trial is irrefutable evidence that the tiger put poison in Glenn Elk's coffee. He's already admitted that he met the victim. The fact that his prints are on the bottle, that really doesn't make any difference now. I knew it. Great. No matter how hard I try, I'm never of any use. Hey, don't be so hard on yourself. This was our last chance to help Maggey, and I've been working on some a useless piece of evidence the whole time. It's all right. I'm a real loser. It's not breaking news to me, pal. Detective Gumshoe, Maggey. You've been working on something for me? Sorry, I let you down, Maggey. I know you didn't do it, and I'm a detective. We're supposed to be able to prove stuff like that. I'm really sorry. I'll get out of your hair now. Detective Gumshoe, wait! He's gone. Isn't there anything we can do, Nick? I wish there was. Gumshoe worked so hard to get that evidence. If only there was some way I could use it. Alright, so we get the small bottle back, and it turns out that it does have Don Tigre's fingerprints on it. Alright, so we're back at the courtroom. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? I granted you a recess so you could prepare this decisive evidence you've discovered. Yes. Don't keep us all in suspense, Trite. Show us. Naturally. We can assume it's evidence that will actually stand up in court, can't we? Think, Phoenix. Don't let Gumshoe's hard work go to waste. How much more of my time are you gonna waste? I ain't been to no court before, but you's lawyers sure know how to blow things out of proportion. No doubt, given the nature of evidence, it will speak for itself. Nevertheless, you will talk us through it, Mr. Wright. Well, I know I can't prove anything with anything new with this evidence. I'm really backed into a corner here, but maybe if he thinks he's got me beat, he'll let his guard down a bit. Don't keep us away waiting any longer, Mr. Wright. Present this final decisive piece of evidence to the court. Alright, let's see. Let's present the small bottle first. This is the defense's piece of evidence. Isn't that the victim's... Your Honor, naturally, the court is already aware of the contents of this bottle. However, interesting new information has come to light. We have clearly identified some fingerprints on it. Fingerprints belonging to you, Mr. Tigre. What? But, Mr. Wright, what conclusion are you hoping to draw from this new information? Everyone in here knows of this bottle, what this bottle contains, except one man. One person in this courtroom should theoretically be in the dark. My prints are on that pansy-looking bottle? Is that what you saying? Well, what the heck's in it anyway? A phony trial, a phony lawyer, and phony clues. Everything about this case has been phony. Seems like the perfect excuse for some phony evidence. Mr. Tigre, this is the decisive piece of evidence that will prove your guilt. Why? Because it contains potassium cyanide. This is the bottle containing the potassium cyanide. Potassium cyanide? The poison used to murder Mr. Elg, Your Honor. The victim's killer used this very bottle. And on this bottle, Mr. Tigre, we found your fingerprints. Well, how do you explain that? You'd make a good clown. You know that? What? You ain't never gonna get this to stick. You just making me laugh now. You think a cheap bluff like that's gonna fool the tiger? A bluff? I can see straight through you, Phoenix Wright. This ain't the bottle with the cyanide in it. No. This is the bottle we found traces of the poison in. Don't mess with the tiger, or you's gonna get ripped to shreds. The cyanide bottle was brown, and it was made of glass. That cheap piece of trash don't look nothing like it. Thanks for your help, Tigre. Got him. At last. What? Why is everyone gone quiet? I said that bottle... Is this the bottle you're referring to? Yeah, that's it. That's the bottle the cyanide was in. But you ain't gonna find my prints on that bottle. Don't let that cozy looking suit fool you, people. That's just that lawyers are just playing games. Tell him, Godot. Tell that guy where to go. You still haven't figured it out. Don't you realize what you just said? What I said? What did I just say? You were summoned to this court for the first time earlier today. If you really had nothing to do with the murder, you shouldn't have known all the little details. For instance, you shouldn't have known what kind of bottle the potassium cyanide was in. But just now, you slipped in front of every single person in this courtroom. You described the exact bottle used by the killer to hold the poison. You don't know who's you messing with. I'm the tiger. I control millions of dollars on the black market. You think I'm gonna let you jump up suit get the better of me? Sure, the last piece of evidence was phony. but that's just what you deserve. The phony trial with a phony lawyer. It was all played out by you, the biggest phony of all. Let him scream. Let him scream. Sweet rave party. Trust me, it does look like the flashes, like a rave party. I think the lights just went out. What's going on? It looks like a blackout. Well done, trite. Okay, there they go. I saved my 17th cup of coffee just for you. Savor it. While you watch your caged prey. Right? You caught a tiger by his toe. But if this one hollers, he won't be let go. Is this supposed to be a rhyme? The prosecution will be sure to take care of Mr. Tigre, won't you, Mr. Godot? He is being arrested on a suspicion of the murder of Glenn Elg, Your Honor. Fortunately for us, we managed to satisfy a very grave error. Miss Byrde was found guilty in the absence of a genuine defense attorney. Yes, she was. And in the absence of genuine evidence. But the tiger made one mistake. Indeed. He very nearly got away with everything if it wasn't for that one slip of the tongue. Furio Tigre is a truly frightening criminal. The truly frightening one is that defense attorney over there. Godot. Well, I am now in a position to deliver my verdict. This court finds the defendant Maggey Byrde not guilty. That is all. Court is adjourned. Whew. Oh, wow. What a trial. What a trial. Mr. Wright! I'm at a loss for words. Thank you, sir. Congratulations, Maggey. I was so mad when Mr. Wright landed me in all that trouble a month ago, but now I feel like I can forgive him. Hey, that wasn't me, Maggey. That was the tiger. Look, Nick, in the doorway. Detective Gumshoe. Oh, guess I'll be heading off then. See you around, pal. Wait! Detective Gumshoe? Oh, yeah. Congratulations, Maggey. Thanks. I knew you were innocent all along. Why didn't you say that in your testimony then? Huh? Oh, well, well, guess I'll be heading off then. See you around. Wait up, a detective? He just ran off. Maggey, why are you being so hard on him? He busted his butt for you. It's thanks to him we got the medication bottle. That wasn't even any use. But it's only because Mr. Wright used it so cleverly. Detective Gumshoe was just running around in circles. Poor guy. Looks like she still isn't ready to forgive him. Can't you put in a good word for him, Nick? Yeah, Amaya's right. I should help Gumshoe out. It's clearly he needs this. Maggey, you know, Detective Gumshoe's been really worried about you through all of this. I wanted to believe that, sir. But on the first day of the trial, he practically gave the judge a free pass to lock me up. He didn't have a choice, Maggey. He's a detective. He has to report the facts. And I agree with Phoenix. As much as much as he wants to like lie or something, he can't do that. He can't do that. This is what I was trying to say in a way. Dick Gumshoe is a detective. He has to report the facts, whether she likes it or not. That saying he supports me. I know he'll never lie to me, but that is not the case. He's a detective and he has to report the facts. He doubted me. That's why he thought I might have done it. I've got to prove to her that Gumshoe really cares about her. I know. I'll give her a little present to celebrate her freedom. Aw, but it looks so tasty and delicious. Look at them. The fluffy white rice, the cocktail weenies. Oh, that lunch looks so good. Here you are. A present to celebrate your freedom. That's a present from Detective Gumshoe, made with a ton of love. He said you lost weight and he was worried about you. Detective Gumshoe? I actually really like weenies, you know? Told ya! For the record, that was not me. It was the game. Someone's stomach is actually growling, but whose? Did you guys hear that? I'm pretty hungry, myself, you know. Yeah, the trial dragged on a bit today, didn't it? Is it okay if I eat this now? So? Oh, that was Maya talking. Excuse me. So, how is it, Maggey? It's really good. So the case of phony versus genuine comes to an end. The false allegations surrounding Maggey have all been cleared up. And who knows? Maybe a whole new chapter of her life is about to start. And there you have it. That's the end of episode 3, Recipe for Turnabout. Tune in next time when we take another trip to the past. Yeah. We are going back to Mia's very first trial. We now have to wonder what got her kind of traumatized during that first trial of hers. What caused her to go on hiatus for a while, only to come back to defend a young Phoenix right? What caused her to go to never appear in what made her give up her courage to defend in a trial in a way? Well, that's a part for next time, and this is the only part that I'm going to be doing. Yeah, because this is basically the whole episode is a trial. So, until then, everyone, take care, and God bless. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and share with all your family and friends. If you're enjoying my content, consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to click that bell to receive notifications for new videos. Take care, and God bless.